after all the wafers on stage. I forgot one detail of the story which they did the very funny thing about is the arcade had there was like all kids who did bad stuff in the arcade, and then I went back a couple years ago and they still had the same sign on the same disc with kids from like yeah, that's 20 years ago. You said the same names up there, so I apologize.
The details of the one story.
I was working at a music. I worked at a music store for a lot of my life when I was at community college, and then I would work full time at the store. It's one of those awesome situations where you schedule your classes around your work schedule. The great, the classic college experience. Where you're just like, well, I can't take this class because I have to work that day. So, yeah, I know it's not very funny at all. So I worked at a music store, but I wanted to write, and I would work at the store all day, and then I'd go home at night, and I'd be writing, and I would try to write. I was pretty much writing anything I could anybody would offer me. But I was seeing a lot of comedy at that point, and there was a show down on Ludlow at a place called Luna Lounge, which is now gone. It's called Eating It on Monday nights, and it would be all these comedians would go up, and Mark Maron lived in New York at that point, so he would go up every week, and I was there with my friend who had gotten a job working at MTV at that point, and he was writing promos for them and doing all sorts of stuff, and so I'm sitting there with my friend watching the show, and at that point I felt really down about how I wasn't where I wanted to be at all. I was working in a store, I wanted to be writing professionally, it was miles away from it, and then Mark is on stage and he goes, he's making some comparison to something else, and then he just goes, yeah, it's kind of like it's the difference between working at a music store and working at MTV. And it was like, it was like this weird thing that he hit the lottery in terms of making me feel bad. A jackpot of my friend who literally worked at MTV sitting next to me who literally worked at a music store. So, yeah, and so I was writing for a lot of, at that point I was writing for a lot of basketball magazines, and they would just offer me any job. They'd be like, hey, will you write about this thing? Yes. Or they'd say, hey, we have a job for you, and I'd say, yes. And then they'd say, well, you're going to go to an NBA fashion show and watch models in Lakers jerseys go. It was the dumbest jobs imaginable. One time I was going to Knicks training camp, and it was during one of Michael Jordan's comeback things, and they were, the magazine was like, if you get any quotes from any players, it's like $50, you get a quote about Michael Jordan coming back from anybody. So I was like, oh, that's really good money to get just a quote about him coming back. So I'm there watching all the Knicks practice, and then it kind of breaks down, and it was at SUNY Purchase, so it was like the size of like 4 basketball courts, just enormous, and at the way far end, as far away as you could imagine, was Spike Lee was there, and he was just leaning against the wall, and I was like, no, I'll ask him for a quote. So I walk all the way, like across the length of 2 full basketball courts, going toward him, and there's nobody else around, and he sees me, and then he waits till I'm like 10 feet away from him, and I go like, to ask him, and he's just like, I'm not working today, man. It was kind of like, yeah, well, first of all, I know you're not working because you're not shooting a movie. Generally, your work is you filming movies. So there was a part of me that was just like, oh, that was the most frustrating thing ever, but there's also a part that's just like, yeah, that's kind of the ultimate burn on any human ever, to let them walk the entire length of something and then just hit them at the last second. Like, you could have yelled to me at any point, hey, I'm not working anybody, save for the same 5-minute walk. So, I think though, in the scheme of all the jobs I took writing for these basketball magazines, the craziest one was Jim Beam was doing this event. The magazine asked me, it's like, hey, would you interview the guys from the band Papa Roach? They're going to be participating in this Jim Beam sponsored event at Chelsea Piers, where 4 dudes in four dudes in Papa Roach are going to play against 4 contest winners. They're going to play full court basketball. And I knew this basketball magazine was aimed at kids, so it was like, I just knew going in, there's no way they're ever going to print Jim Beam in any of the stuff. So it was kind of just like a giant, it's like, I show up, the Jim Beam person just like, oh, it's going to be so exciting. You know, it's really so great. You guys at Papa Roach are so excited about talking to you. Contest winners are here. And I go back to like there's this tent, and there's no media at this whole thing. I'm it for media, and I have this laminate that has a Jim Beam bottle on it. As if anybody's stopping me, and nobody cares. So I go talk to the guys in Papa Roach. Like, so what made you guys want to do this thing? And like, one guy's like, Jim Beam, dude. I love Jim Beam. And like, you can't get enough Jim Beam. And it's like, they're never going to print the Jim Beam at anything to do with it. It was a thing where the main guy was talking, and then there were those 2 other guys in the band who just like sat and stared like they weren't allowed to. Like in a movie when it's like there's a band in a movie and then like each member gets 1 line of dialogue just because it's the only fair thing to do to everybody says something. It was like these guys didn't even get that. They were just like, they might have been bombed out of their boards, I don't know. But, so then the game is going to start now, and it's 4 people in Papa Roach, 4 contest winners, and they got 2 guys from the Harlem Globetrotters to complete each team, like 1 guy on each team. So now it's 4 completely out of shape musicians playing 4 completely out of shape contest winners, and these 2 guys in the Harlem Globetrotters have to pretend that they like pass the ball to this idiot who's going to miss the shot from 1 foot away. We can end this game so quickly, but we just have to, we're getting like, $700 to be here today. So, yeah, so we're watching the absolute worst game of basketball imaginable and then having to write about it. And then we went to, then that was it for Papa Roach. The event carried it over to Madison Square Garden, where Walt Frazier from the New York Knicks was there, and he put the contest winners through like basketball drills. He had them like dribbling the ball between cones, and it's like, these people just play full court basketball. Die from that, and now you're putting them through like the rudiments of basketball, as if like they're not terrible at this. Just dribbling so bad at it. It's just like they're sucking wind, and then I wrote about it, and that was my life at that point. And if it brought me here today, then it was completely worth it.